lift on a 99 Crown Vic. This is Cody's car. It's already pretty decked out, but we're gonna go a little bit taller for better clearance right here. What we're gonna use is hockey pucks, some bolts, and a couple of saws. All right, so the hardest part about the body lift is the front mounts. These almost always seize up. This is the only one that's different, and that bolt threads into the bushing that sits just above the frame. So if this doesn't come out, that's where we're gonna have to cut. All right, so you wanna start on the front mounts because that's the one that's going to give you problems if you are gonna have problems. So right here, we've got, this one has a bolt that goes up through the bottom, and then there is a washer and a nut right on top. That is a 15 top and bottom. All right, so this is what most of the body mounts look like. That is going to be a 13 mil, and this is what comes off. You've got a washer and a bushing. And then the fronts are the only ones that are different. There are 14 of these, and then these two are in the very front right next to the core support. The problem that always happens with these, and I don't know how it didn't happen here, was that these front ones have threads that thread into this bushing right here. And this makes for a nightmare. So what we do when these are seized up is we get in under there with a cutoff wheel and cut the head off the bolt. And we usually have to grind down a little bit and then just pry that bottom off. And then once you get that out, instead of using this one with the threaded piece, we will just use a hockey puck in place of this. All right, so the thread pitch on these bolts is an M10 by 1.5. We've gone with 150 millimeter bolts on these, and these are from Fastenal. A 150 millimeter will do either a 2-inch body or a 3-inch body. And so the reason that we prefer to do 2-inch body lift over the 3-inch is that that's kind of a breaking point. The 3-inch, you usually start to have problems with the steering shaft, whereas the 2, you can get away without it. Also, on ones that don't have cut bumpers, with a 2-inch body lift, that bumper will stretch and you can make up the difference there. But at 3 inches, it starts to pull itself away. So, but like I said, with a 150 millimeter bolt, you can do either a 2 or a 3-inch. To do a 2-inch body lift, you need 34 hockey pucks, so 16 times 2, and then plus another 2 because you're going to be replacing that. If you're doing a 3-inch body, then you will need more. Okay, so if you do a 3-inch body, you will need 50 hockey pucks. We bought a bulk pack of 50 on eBay for $60, and so at that you can usually buy packs of 25 or 50. So if you buy a 50 pack and 150 mil, you can make a decision whether you want to do a 2 or a 3-inch. That it ended up being about $120 for us. All right, so now that we've got those fronts out, what we're going to do is take one whole side of body mounts off, and then we'll get a floor jack under the body, lift it up, slip the hockey pucks in, and then just set it down. But you want to do one side at a time. That way your body and your chassis don't get misaligned. All right, so we are going to drill these out with a 7/16 drill bit. We're just going to eyeball it, get close enough. All right, so we've got the entire passenger side out. One in the front right by the core support, that's that weird one. Behind the tire, you've got 2. and then right by about the door handle, back door, right above the rear tire, behind the rear tire, and then very back. All right, now we're gonna put the floor jack so that it's just touching that pinch weld and not touching the frame. Then we're gonna try and lift up on just the body. All right, so we're gonna take the stock hardware, we're gonna get rid of that bolt. You put the new bolt in, but you need the washer and the bushing. And then you're gonna go up through the frame. These are gonna sit above the frame and then into the body. If you're using a 150 mil on a 2-inch lift, you're gonna have some extra room up here. That helps you at least be able to guide it in where it needs to go. So we're gonna throw these in right here. And the bolts that I bought have a 17 mil head. You want to just get tension on all of them before you suck any of them down. All right, so the factory had the bolt coming up from the bottom. I think that's a bad idea. We're going to drop it down from the top. I've just got a magnet. Get it down through that washer. This has got a little aluminum bushing right there. Make sure you get all the spacers lined up. We got all those bolts started, and then we set the body back down once we had all the hockey pucks and bolts in and started, and then from there we torqued it down. We just hit it with an impact, and you can feel when the hockey pucks start to bulge just a little bit. You don't want to keep running it, they will split. So just get it nice and snug in there, call it good. All right, so with the rag joint style steering, there is a little bit of binding up. It still rotates, but you can feel it grab. And so we're taking out the steering shaft and we're just gonna clearance it. So if you look in here, there are two 13 mil or 1/2 inch bolts. One in the top, one in the bottom. There is a dust shield that goes over that lower piece, but we've just removed that. So with the two 13s removed, you just get in between here and pry that out. I have clearanced around here. It gives it more flex. I have not altered these, which is the main securing point. It just allows it to move more without binding. And then I will leave a link in the description for the hardware and hockey pucks that I used. I will warn you though, these are a class 8.8, not a class 10.9 as stock. However, I would argue that this is a lot safer than this rusted one that I pulled out. And so the last thing is how far out this telescopes. As you're driving, this doesn't move in and out. And so with the 2-inch body lift, we're at about that far out. It still has room to travel out more, and these ends are staked, so it can't just pop out. Hope that was helpful. If you want to see some of the other stuff that we do with the Grand Marquis and Crown Vics, just subscribe and we'll try and get some more stuff documented. Thanks.